Hello and welcome to another episode of The Tonic for Lunacy. Today, I am going to talk to you a little bit about the love gates in human design. So, this episode is actually going to be a recording of part of the class that I'm doing for human design shadow summer school about love and relationships. So the class itself is broken up into several parts. Part one is the love gates, the anti-mundane, meaning the non-personal love gates, and then the personal love gates that are the mundane love gates. Part two is going to be human design shadow work on relationships. Part three is composite charts and how to do all of that shit. And what part am I up to? I don't know. Part four, I guess, is the Eden loop. That's the Gene Keys toxic cycle that we often go through in relationships that we don't even realize we are doing because it is it's a cycle. This is the toxic bond, right? What do they call? What do we call that? Trauma bonding. That's what this is. So I'm going to show you how to find that in the gene keys using you and your partner. That's part of the class. But what I'm going to play for you right now is the beginning of the love gates portion, because I just find this to be so interesting and so fun. And it was so much fun researching it and putting it all together. Anyway, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, I do recommend that you move on over to YouTube so that you can look at the slides. But if you want to just listen and not be distracted by any slides, I do read off of them. I do try to give you the gates just in case you are just listening. So that's my little disclaimer. I hope you love this. I hope you join us for our love class. It is officially available on June 24th, and it will be available after that as well. All right. Hi. If you don't know me yet, my name is Donna, and I am the founder of Human Design Shadow. And in Human Design Shadow, we try to heal our shit so that we can live our true, embodied, amazing, incredible selves in an effortless, easy, fun way. So I look at shadows, I look at patterns, I look at traumas, I look at woundings, and I try to help you heal your relationship with yourself, heal your relationship with other people so that you can live your most outrageous, amazing life. So love and relationships is something that we all encounter. And when I say relationships, I don't just mean lovers. I also mean our parents, our grandparents, our friends, our children. So relationships can be a lot of different people, all people, right? We will focus specifically on love today in part one. And by love, I mean like lover relationships. How annoying am I? Don't you just want to be like, just start already with your stupid intros? I will. Okay. What we're going to learn about is the anti-mundane love gates, which are here in the Vessel of Love, which is gate 10, 15, 46, and 25. And then the mundane love gates, which are personal, that are here in red, which is also 10, 44, 28, 58, 41, 55, 40. All right. So the anti-mundane and mundane love gates provide us with a fixed theme of love in our life. This is the theme of love. This isn't love, right? Like if somebody were to ask me what is love, I'd be like, I have no idea, right? Like I don't know what love is. I experience themes of love. I experience different expressions of love. So the anti-mundane and the mundane love gates are going to provide us with a fixed theme of love in our life. If you have none of these gates, your love themes are not fixed, also more likely to be conditioned by society about love. Do not glaze over this. This is potent. This is important. Whether you have some of them or none of them, where we are open, and I'm going to go into the nuances of this because there are really important nuances based on whether your center is defined or not defined. But if you are open in any of these gates, like if you're looking at this feverishly, trying to figure out which ones you have, which ones you don't have, and you don't have them, that means that you are likely conditioned by society. And we are all conditioned. by society, right? Like I am a rom-com lover. Like I love me some rom-coms, but also I recognize where these rom-coms are a little bit much, right? Where it's like, this is not reality. This is insane. I actually had a client at one point who was trying to, she was getting a little bit older and she wanted to find the love of her life. She wanted to get married. She wanted to have kids. So she's like, help me find a lover, like help me find someone to marry. And I must have been like overzealous at this point in my career because I was like, sure, we can do this. Which like now if somebody said this to me, I'd be like, I don't know about this. Anyway, we did a lot of really, really deep shadow work, lots of deep shadow work. And we finally got to the point, I think it was like 3 to 6 months later, where we're like, okay, we're ready. Like, we're ready to put ourselves out there. So I gave her the assignment, stop watching romantic movies. Stop watching all of this shit on TV because it was filling her head with things and experiences and expectations. And I was like, you gotta stop because this is really fucking up the way that you perceive love and the way that you receive love because it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic and it doesn't match who you are, right? If you're watching all of these crazy movies, all of these things, and you're like, I don't understand how I have not met a man on an airplane yet, like the love of my life. I don't understand it, right? So we have all these expectations and then we turn them inward, like, oh, this must be a me problem. This is because I'm not good enough. This is because I'm bad. Dot dot dot. So I'd love for you to get super duper clear. And let me give you this assignment right now. Pause me, get super duper clear on what are my conditionings around love. What have I learned from society around love? And if you're doing Shadow Summer School with me, in the family mapping class, that's, I think it's class 5, family shadow mapping, we are going to talk about love. And we're going to talk about how we're conditioned by love and how we're conditioned by the way that we experience love in our childhood, what we saw from our parents, what our parents were capable of, and what that proved to us. So if you know that you have some conditioning to undo and release there, I would recommend that class to you as well. Okay, the nuances to keep in mind. So defined gates in defined centers. This is where / how it is correct for me to experience love, obviously following my strategy and authority. If you have an undefined gate in a defined center, meaning I have, let's say I have the defined spleen that connects the 2838, but no 44. So if you have an undefined gate in a defined center, this is desire. This is a love trap. And I'm going to show you guys at the end of this how I have fallen into a love trap. I'm going to give you a very practical example of 2 charts, mine and a man. And I will show you how these different love gates and traps have played out for me in real life. In real life. Okay. If you have a defined love gate in an undefined center, so that is like any of the examples I have here, right? The undefined G center with a 10. What this says is that you need somebody who brings an electromagnetic, I don't want to say need, I shouldn't have written need in there. We are looking for someone who brings an electromagnetic connection. You will love them more than they love you. It will feel like you need to have this love, this person, and you get lost in them. They feel like the one. And this isn't a problem, right? So we want to, what we're going to learn about these love gates is that a lot of times we look at them as a problem, right? I'm naggy. I'm always telling someone how he needs to correct himself. There's an energy behind it. There's an intention behind it. This is who you are if you have the 58, right? Like you're just going to be a little bit naggy is the negative perspective that we give to it. But it's just mechanics. And this too, it's simply mechanics. Ever heard the saying that there is always one person in a relationship who loves the other more? This is it. Which means you can also experience deep pain when this gate of love gets taken away. Think breakup. So let's read that again, right? Let's talk about that again. So defined gate in a defined center. And these are the love gates. So we have the anti-mundane love gates, 10, 15, 46, 25. And then we have the mundane love gates that are personal. So the anti-mundane are not personal. They are transcendental, transpersonal. Then we have the personal love gates that are 44, 40, 28, 58, 41, 55. If these gates are in a defined center, if these gates are defined for you in a defined center, this is where and how it is correct for you to experience love, following your strategy and authority based on their specific expressions of love, which I'm going to give you in a second. If you have an undefined gate in a defined center, this is desire. This is a love trap because you see desire there, right? Somebody comes in with this love gate and you're like, ooh, this feels good. I don't have this. I'm completely open. This feels good. This is desire. I want to experience this. I don't want to be lonely anymore. I want this, right? So that's desire. It's a love trap. It's unnatural. If you have a defined gate, and I want to say it's unnatural in the not self, right? Like, I'm not saying it's unnatural for you to be in a relationship with someone that has this gate if you do not. I'm just saying if you're in the not self of this energy, and we're going to talk about the not self of all of these gates, then yes, this is a love trap. If you have a defined love gate in an undefined center, this is where you will always feel like you love this person more than they love you. And that's not wrong and it's not bad. So stop trying to get them to love you more because that's not going to happen. It's not. It's just the mechanics of it, right? So you might feel like, I need this love. I need this person. You're obsessed with them. You get lost in them. Like, oh my God, I love this person so much, right? I need them in my life. Again, we're talking not self, but also loving someone more, I'm putting this in air quotes, more than they love you is not necessarily a bad thing. That's not self. It's only not self when you make it mean something about you. Well, I'm not good enough. Well, I got to find somebody that loves me more, or I got to make them love me more. But what you do need to know is if you've ever experienced just like tremendous heartbreak, curious to know whether it's because you had a defined love gate in an undefined center and this person defined your center for you. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Let's talk about the anti-mundane love gates. These are the I don't love you, I'm just loving gates. And I'm obsessed with these. I'm obsessed with these because they make so much sense. And I only have one. And I'm like, and it's also a mundane love gate. So I should be like, this, I don't resonate with this. But like when I read this, I was like, this makes so much sense. So these love gates are not personal. They don't love you personally. They are just loving in the way that they be. And I'm going to show you some of their themes and how it plays out. And then you're going to understand why they're not personal. Why, if I'm in a relationship with someone with the 10, the 15, the 46, or the 25, why I might feel like I love them with all of my heart and soul, but I feel like I'm getting nothing in return. Or I feel like they don't really love me. It seems like they love everybody else. Well, they do love everybody else and they're loving. That's just who they be. These are just not personal love gates. They don't experience love personally with one-on-one, right? In like personal relationships like that. It doesn't mean they're not loving. And the anti-mundane love gates are searching for a greater universal transcendental love, which makes them seem like they love you because of their loving nature. Transcendent, transpersonal connectivity goes beyond just identifying with one person. It's bigger. And this is gonna make so much more sense. Stick with me. How's that for a little teaser preview of the mundane and anti-mundane love gates. I really recommend that you jump into this class because we go into a lot more detail, and then we still have composite charts that we didn't even get into. So this in full is a 2 hour, I think 2 hours and 1 minute, maybe. You get all the slides, you get the workbook, you even get to download the video so that you can have it for yourself. So I will drop all of the links. I hope you enjoyed this little itty bitty teaser preview, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.